I started Under 10 Fitness, and the whole concept of the podcast was fitness tips and information in less than 10 minutes. And it started about 2 years ago, and it quickly grew into this big podcast that I have now. So it's a website. I actually turned it into an LLC, and now it's not just 10 minutes anymore. It's an hour long. So it's really expanded and evolved from whence it first started. But it was all just because I, liked fitness and I liked talking. So I figured I'd marry the two, and then I could do both.
Well, your podcast is really fun to listen to. I heard a couple of the early episodes as well as a couple of the recent episodes. Can you give the listeners here some examples of the type of things you talk about on the podcast and the different types of guests that you have?
When the podcast first started, it was just me and a buddy, and we would just try to have as much fun as possible. I've done some phone pranks where I called a few businesses and we asked them, to describe their latest workouts, and those were actually very entertaining. So what I tried to do is take a typical morning radio show, but make it fitness focused. And that since evolved, and now I want to give more useful tips. And so I invite a lot of experts onto the show. I talk to doctors, dietitians, nutritionists, bodybuilders, powerlifters, athletes. I mean, anybody who likes anything to do with health and fitness is pretty much a good guest for the show. I mean, I've talked to Paralympic hopefuls and Olympians, and I just got to interview a group of Colorado Springs women who were on the new NBC series. It's on Monday nights. It's the Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge. And so and then what we like to do inside of the podcast is talk to them about their different workout programs and then diets. What are they doing? How are these people getting into shape? So there's some really good takeaways inside of the episodes, specific things that you can do for your diet or specific workouts.
Tell us a little bit about your story, how you got into radio and fitness.
And I joined my mother. She owned a cleaning business, and so I joined her on the cleaning business side, and all the while kind of going in and out of the gym a little bit. And I started to refocus my energy on myself, and I started really hitting the gym. And what I found was when I did it on a consistent basis, I could change my body. So I started to see these changes in my body while I was working out. And then that kind of translated into my work life. So with fitness, everything is relative to business. You show up, you do the work on a consistent basis, and you see the positive change. And so I said, well, I could do this in my professional life as well. And so I showed up to the cleaning business, I did my work, and I saw positive change, and we really grew that business. And then, so the cleaning business, you're cleaning houses, you have a lot of free time. And so I would listen to the radio. And one of the DJs that I listened to said that he got his degree from Pikes Peak Community College. And I said, well, I really like radio. So I went over to Pikes Peak Community College, signed up for the radio classes soon after I heard him mention that resource, and I got my degree. And so the fitness has always been in the background there, and I wanted to start my own radio show, but I didn't want to talk celebrity gossip. I didn't want to talk just flat out nonsense. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of nonsense on the fitness show, but I did want to talk about something that I was very passionate about. So that's how the fitness and the podcasting and radio all ended up together. And I really never knew how it would evolve or become what it is now. But now Under 10 Fitness, the next step is to actually get...
Listeners, thank you for tuning in to Central Colorado Springs Advice Givers Podcast. Go to iTunes, leave us a review, and leave us some feedback. This is a conversation. We do want to hear from you. Please tell us what you think. Subscribe on iTunes. That'll help us reach more people so that all together we can keep making Colorado Springs better.